Alright guys, welcome back. This is Bad Senator. So this is the first video in a series I'm going to be doing where we examine a certain EAS scenario creators, and on a scale of 1, which is the least realistic, to 5, which is the most realistic, we'll examine how likely these scenarios are of actually happening and if it's possible or not that these scenarios could happen. So just a quick review of the rating system I'm going to be using here. 1 star means that it's like mathematically or physically impossible. 2 stars means that, it's impossible according to today's standards. And what I mean by that is like 100 years ago, we thought splitting the atom was impossible. So from the standards of 100 years ago, none of the nuclear attack scenarios would have been possible. But today's standards, they are definitely possible. So what I'm getting at is think of that like in the future. Stuff we think is impossible today could potentially be possible in the future. So they could very far-fetched happen. So we can't say for complete sureness that they wouldn't happen, so we're going to give them 2 stars. 3 stars means that it's possible, but I'm leaning towards it not happening. 4 is the opposite. It's possible, and I'm leaning towards yes, it could happen. 5 stars means that something like that already did happen, or it is almost certain that it could happen. And with that, let's get started with the first EAS scenario, bioterrorist attack. We're giving that 2 stars for realness. And the first 3 EAS alerts are completely realistic. It's completely realistic that some wackadoo could detonate a biological weapon, but it's impossible according to today's standards that the people die, rise up, and become zombies. So that's 2 stars. Again, with scientists, like science making leaps and bounds, there really isn't a whole lot of things that suggest like, oh, this could never happen. Even if science makes leaps and bounds, you just never know with the way technology and science is rapidly becoming more, making things that were once thought impossible to be possible. So you don't really know, but probably 2 stars. And we're going to give that same 2-star rating to New York City hurricane disaster. Now, New York City hurricane disaster, that's a Category 5 hurricane hitting New York City. We're giving that one 2 stars for several reasons. The part where a Category 5 hurricane hits New York City is pretty unrealistic. In fact, the strongest hurricane that can hit New York City is Category 3. Not just because the water temperatures that far north don't support a stronger hurricane than that. But even if a Cat 5 did happen, then it probably wouldn't destroy the entire city. Yes, windows are going to be blown out, but in this scenario, tall buildings like the Empire State Building and the Freedom Tower and the Chrysler Building do fall. And I don't think that's going to that wouldn't happen, in my opinion, even if a Category 5 hurricane of that strength hit. And that's just because how strongly those buildings are built. Sure, they sway a little bit, but I don't think they'd fall. Maybe I'm wrong, so that's why it's 2. That's why I'm reading it 2 stars. EAS Scenario 3, amusement park mayhem. So, in this scenario, terrorists infiltrate many parks, take hostages, and then detonate nuclear devices in them. Now, keep in mind, this video is not to scare you, okay? This video, by no means, I don't want to scare you. But I'm stating the fact in that it is a valid threat that terrorists could detonate a device like that. Like a Hiroshima crude kind of bomb. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I mean, we like to think that, only, superpowers that have good use of their nuclear weapons, like the United States and Russia and China, have them. But it is pretty real that a terrorist could acquire a bomb. And because of that rating, there's 4 stars. Because it's definitely not 100% going to happen, or 100% could happen. There is a chance that maybe nukes are just too complex for terrorists to build, but I'd be leaning to think that they are in fact not as complex as people make them out to be, and terrorists could in fact get one. So 4 stars. EAS Scenario 5, Dallas Amber Alert. There was an Amber Alert like 2 days ago, 5 stars. Asteroid event. It happened 65 million years ago. Why can't it happen now? 5 stars. EAS Scenario 7, Sports Chaos. People riot over some pretty strange things. 5 stars. EAS Scenario 8, Aliens Sack Indianapolis. 3 stars. Okay, now, some people would be inclined to rate this 2 stars, because it's impossible according to today's standards, but I don't think it is impossible according to today's standards. And that's just because that, hey, I mean, just because we haven't seen life doesn't mean that life couldn't have seen us. So 3 stars. I'm leaning towards it not being possible and not happening. It probably won't happen, but I'm only leaning that way, so I'm rating it 3 stars. Now, just so you know, when I say I'm leaning towards it happening or leaning towards it not happening, what I mean by that is, like, in the length of the world, in the length of the world's around, not in our lifetime, so it definitely won't happen in my life, but it may happen for the rest of the existence of this world. So that's what I'm saying, like, it couldn't happen or it could happen. I'm talking about, like, through the world's lifespan, not your lifespan. So that's what I'm getting at there. And I just realized something. They said that aliens are on every town and village on the Earth. I think that put it in the 2-star category, because it's impossible, really, for every single, like, Bedouin camp to have aliens. So that puts it in the 2-star category for me. Let's scroll up a little bit here. EAS Scenario 9, Nuclear Attack. North Korea could definitely acquire the nukes needed to make this video possible. 5 stars. 1 hour later, Earthquake Apocalypse. San Andreas Fault can't produce earthquakes higher than, I believe, 8.8 or something. I think 8.8 is the highest it can really go. So that's 1 star. And even if it did generate a 10.0 earthquake as it did in this video, it's an overland earthquake, meaning that there wouldn't be a tsunami. So that is just a 1 star. EAS Scenario 1, Charlotte Disaster. Basically the same thing as the other one, the amusement park mayhem. 4 stars, and for the same reasons. EAS Mini Scenario, Soda Toxin, 2 stars. So, okay, sodas are gonna have toxins in them, but what would cause each soda that was made at a different time to each have toxins at the exact same time? Like, maybe there's, like, some sort of weird bomb someone would, like, detonate, and then, like, it would spread a kind of chemical that reacts negatively with soda and makes, like, toxins or something like that. I don't know, or maybe, like, there's, like, some weird thing where, like, something goes wrong at a factory, but something goes wrong at every factory and at the same time, and certain sodas. I don't know. I think it's far-fetched. That's why I'm giving it 2 stars. EAS Scenario 13, the Midwest Clown Uprising. 5 stars. It practically did happen. Remember the clown scare of 2016? Man, 2016 thing back, that was really, really weird year, wasn't it? We had clowns. We had clowns all around the country. You had a literal walking meme as a president. Like, we memed about Donald Trump before he became president. I mean, 2016 was a really weird year, wasn't it? Anyway, EAS Scenario 14, Ohio riots. Now, I don't know what goes on in the White House. Now, basically in this scenario, riots in Ohio spiral completely out of control, and they get to such a point where the only way to stop them is by literally nuking Ohio. I would personally think that no matter how bad it got, that I don't think they'd use nukes. They'd use other stuff, like they declare martial law, they'd do curfew, they'd use, like, I don't know, like, non-nuclear explosives. There would be a lot of stuff that they'd do first before launching nuclear weapons, and I'm pretty sure those things would appear on EAS alerts. So, we're giving that 1 star, just because of all those reasons. And EAS Scenario 15, we're giving that 2 stars. 2 stars because, I mean, it could happen, but police would have to be really, 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 really incompetent for it to happen. Basically, what happened was terrorists go roam around Pennsylvania and Ohio, like escaped prisoners, and it caused a bunch of hostage situations. And I think that the police would be able to like get them before they like did stuff in all those cities. Like they like go to 8 different cities that are like half hour apart from each other and spend time there doing terrorist acts. So I think the police would definitely be able to catch them before they were able to completely make everything in that scenario true. 16 ISIS Nightmare, basically the same thing as the other ones, 4 stars, because it's nuclear terrorism. EAS Scenario 17, 9/11/21. It did happen, 5 stars. EAS Scenario 18, 5 stars again. This did happen, I think, in the Caucasus Mountains of Russia, I think it was. So, yeah, that could happen. It happened in the United States too, unfortunately. Okay, East Coast tsunami. There's so many things wrong with that scenario. 1 star. I mean, this is his like most unrealistic scenario. Because like, okay, I want to list all the things wrong. We're probably going to spend 5 minutes on this. 9.8 earthquake in the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of Wilmington, North Carolina. There isn't even a fault line there. Or at least a major one that we know of. And like no fault lines out in the Atlantic Ocean can produce earthquakes 9.8. If a 9.8 earthquake happened, 9.8 earthquakes happened like it happened off the coast of Chile once. I think it was a 9.5. That generated like, I don't know how high it was, like 50. We're gonna say 50. That sounds right. 50-foot tsunami. So it wouldn't be much higher than that. Maybe like 200, 300 feet. And if a 10,000-foot tsunami was generated, there's no way in hell only 3,500 people are dying. Because, like, that literally is, like, entire states underwater. And then you also account for the fact that it says the tsunami is, like... It says it's, like, moving at 700 miles per hour. It's 300 miles away, and it's going to arrive in 1 hour. The math just doesn't add up here, and that's why it's going to be 1 star. EAS Scenario 20, Yellowstone eruption. We're going to go ahead and rate that 2 stars. Yes. A Yellowstone supervolcano could erupt. But I watched a documentary on Yellowstone supervolcano. And like I watched a lot of different things. And the events described in that scenario don't match up at all with what I've heard from, actual scientists that study stuff like this. So we're going to rate that 2 stars. Because no one really knows, but that probably wouldn't happen. 21. EAS Scenario 21. We're going to rate that the same thing as we did for the New York one. Do we rate that 3 stars? Yeah, let's rate it 3 stars. Same thing, waters off the coast of California aren't strong enough to support a hurricane of that size. And even if it did, Los Angeles would still be standing. The buildings of Los Angeles would still survive. Like the big skyscrapers. Okay, then the next one. Canine Hell, 1 star. So, some people would be like, you rated the zombie one 2 stars. Why are we rating this one 1 star? Now, why is it that certain, like, it'd only be in 1 state? Like Wisconsin has some nooks and crannies, like, something that starts, like, in the southwestern corner of the state should spread to other states, like Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio. So why does something that start in the southwestern corner of a state only spread up eastern and northernly? And why is it only spread like that, as to which the entire state of Wisconsin is affected by this disease, but yet someone who's living 500 meters across the border into Minnesota isn't affected? I'm not buying this one. So, that's 1 star. EAS Scenario 22. That one's slightly more realistic. We're going to give it 4 stars. Because waters off the coast of Florida, in fact, are warm enough to support hurricanes of that magnitude. And I think that, yeah, they could, Miami could go down, I think, because like the storm surge, and because Miami is closer to the coast than other cities, like it's closer to the coast than New York and Los Angeles. So I think some of the skyscrapers with the storm surge could go down. So we're gonna give that 4 stars. My personal favorite, EAS Scenario 23, Oklahoma, Arkansas weather disaster. We are going to rate that one 2 stars. 2 stars because everything leading up to the final could happen. But the final one, a nuclear chain reaction occurs. I don't really know how a nuclear power plant exploding could cause like chain reactions of like other nuclear power plants in different states. I don't know, because like nuclear power plants can't have an actual nuclear explosion. That's not possible. They can't just have a full-blown like nuclear explosion like a nuclear bomb. If that were the case, then okay, I can buy it, but no, they just like have a small explosion. It wouldn't impact other plants. But again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a nuclear expert. Maybe like shockwaves from the explosion could like get into other nuclear reactors and then explode. I don't know. I'm not an expert, so I'm gonna rate that 2 stars. The Great Keystone Blizzard. I don't really see how a snow can lead to a nuclear meltdown, so we're gonna rate that 2 stars. 25 exploding vending machines and zombies. 2 stars again. Same reason bioterrorist attack was. Hoover Dam break. Hoover Dam could go down. I think it's 5 stars because of it. I mean, dams have broken before, and it's in an earthquake-prone area. So yeah, 5 stars. And like the Clark County area would be devastated with flooding. So I'm gonna rate that 5 stars. His Thanksgiving official Thanksgiving plague. I mean, it's could happen. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. It could happen. I'm gonna lead towards it like not happening though. Actually, no, we're gonna give it 4 stars because it could happen. Definitely. Like animals get diseases, and sometimes if it gets past regulations and checks by like supermarkets who put turkeys in Thanksgiving, like if the disease somehow isn't detected before it hits the store shelves, we definitely have something happen like that. The Dangerous Signal, 2 stars, another 2-star one. Yeah, it's kind of like the zombie one. Maybe someone somewhere finds a code or some kind of sound that reacts inadvertently with human cells to make them go crazy or something. Maybe that's possible, but I don't think it's possible according to today's standards. So it would be the 2-star treatment. The Great DC Fire. This one. I think that's a 1-star. Conditions in DC just don't favor fires. And even if a fire did start, I don't think it would literally spread to the entire East Coast. Like, burn scars are pretty big. It's not like they envelop, like, cities. Like, in this scenario, like, Rhode Island, everything from Rhode Island to Virginia is on fire. A fire couldn't really spread that fast and that large, in my opinion. Like, conditions have happened before that are worse or better for fires than the ones in this scenario, and they've only had small burn scars compared to the DC fire. Okay, enough about that. That's a 1-star. Demon Santa, 1-star. No way someone in a car is getting across the entire United States, Alaska, and Hawaii, and no one is gonna make that many propane bombs to explode. Like, clearly in everyone's house. So that's not gonna happen. That's 1-star. Nuclear Attack 2, 5 stars. Mini drop ball goes wrong. We're gonna give that one 3 stars because I think NORAD radar would definitely give out alerts to the New York area before anything could happen. Bees is 3 stars. I mean, something would have to go really, really bad. Like, I don't think, like, the events described in this scenario could happen. Like, the bees, like, spread all around. I personally don't think that it could spread that fast. And also, like, there's this thing that's, like, bees get into a venom, and then it, like, there's, like, a toxin or something that reproduces them. And then, like, they just have written just a bunch of toxic materials, so their stings, like, kill anyone. So I don't think, not only would scientists have to be really incompetent in not stopping that, I think the venom would just kill the bees. And I think that the, like, toxins making them reproduce or something, it could happen, but I'm just leaning towards it not happening. Too many things would have to go wrong, and too many undiscovered things would need to happen in order for that scenario to happen. Battle of Detroit, 1 star. Unless if there was, like, an actual military coup, then no one would get enough military-grade weapons to really do much damage. And they, like, burned down the city. Like, you can burn down a city all you want, but you're not going to get everything in the city. Like, they literally say the entire city was destroyed. So, no, I just don't think that you can light down a city all you want, but you're not going to burn down a city in a week's time, which was when the attack was repelled. EAS Scenario 32, Not So Super Bowl. We're going to give that the other ones as the other nuclear terrorism ones. We're going to downgrade it to 3 stars, because I think the police would be able to get them when they're doing the active shooter thing. Like, there are, like, tons of police at Minneapolis Super Bowl. At that event, there had to be some sort of, like, really big police presence. So I think that in the part of the scenario where they were, like, shooting people, I think that the police would not be able to, or the police would be able to stop them, and they would never detonate the nuclear device or anything. So that's just a 3 star, unlike the other nuclear terrorism ones. Snap should update riot. People riot for weird stuff. 5 stars. Alright. Alright, so after doing all the map, we have determined that SPCHermitage's average realistic rating is 3.1. So this obviously added up all of the ratings for the videos, divided them by the number of scenarios, 36, and I rounded up, and I got the number 3.1. So when you're watching an SPCHermitage scenario, you can generally expect something that's a little bit on the edge. It toes the line of being unrealistic. So on average, that's what you can expect from him. I will see you guys soon, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Bye.